Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. Monday Night Squad is on a Tuesday this week, so we're on a special night. But we got a lot to get into. We got a struggling baseball team. Sean, getting a little concerned. I know a lot of these. I know a lot of teams. Over the 162. You got a lot of ebbs and flow in baseball, and teams do go into slumps. But, this has been a couple months slump. What's your concern level with the Phillies?
Get the losses out now, and just get in that postseason. And I want you to play small ball, just like what Arizona did to us due to whoever team we play, But cause a concern? No, but am I kind of ticked off with these games that we should win? Yeah, But get the losses out now.
I got to be honest with you. My concern level's rising, bro. I mean, we're down there. We're only, we had a huge lead. Now we're only Philly's got a 5.5 game lead over Atlanta. They're only 7 up on the break on the Mets. Mm-hmm. When they swept the Dodgers here, I mean, it was less than a month ago, I believe. They had They had a 7-game lead in the loss column over the Dodgers. They are right now. I'm looking right now. They're like a half game up on the. They're 1 game in the loss column. Phillies are 66-46. Dodgers 66-47. So they're pretty much tied with the Dodgers.
Yes, they are.
The best record. And if you go back to London, bro, this team's like 5 games under 500.
Yeah. That's great. I was going to bring that up. I think the London trip for the Phillies kind of did something to them, but jet lag or just that being on the other side of the pond. You know what I mean? But I'm not. Is it an excuse? No, but it kind of shows of what the team has been since that London game. And. You got guys that are supposed to step up that ain't stepping up, but I mean, and we really didn't do anything in the trade. Did that really surprise you and appease you with bullpen help? No, not really.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? It's. I hear what you're saying about the trip to London, but it's hard for me to give the Phillies a pass, considering the team that they played has played great baseball. The Met, you know what I mean? The Mets went from well under 500. Now the Mets are 59-53. They're 7 games back. I mean, I think after London, I think the Mets were like 16 games back at that point.
Yes, they were. After the All-Star break too, since you bring that up, Joe, they were 23-10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So.
And the Yankees were the opposite, 10-21. But I mean, it's starting to kind of get a raise of concern, but for me, but not as of yet.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, this is a big series with the Dodgers, so obviously we'll start off with some Phillies talk here, and then of course, the other big thing in news is, I mean, we got football back right now. I mean, we're in the best time of the year. We got training camp. I mean, by most accounts, Jalen Hurts. I was listening to WIP, and I know Elliott Shore Parks does the the training camp stats.
Yeah, no.
I don't put a ton of credence into that because it's training camp. But the thing that does impress me is he supposedly looks great. He hasn't even thrown an interception on so many passes or something like that. And, so he looks good. Hopefully the team looks good. And, so we'll get in a lot of Eagles here. I got a comment. Here's my man, Mike Fuji. He says, "What's good, fellas? Happy Tuesday." What's up, Mike? How's Mike? How you doing?
What nights?
What's that?
What nights can you check out Fuji?
I believe Wednesday night. In fact, he's got our man Mark Farzetta on this week, so make sure you give him make sure you check him out. And then I got my man Paul Spencer right here. He says Phillies are 5-14 since sweeping the Dodgers before the break. Yeah, that's just that's just not going to get it done, bro.
Mm-hmm. True. Couldn't have said it better. It's basically, you got to play better ball. And Thompson with last night, like we were talking before we got on, why are you putting Stubbs in the pinch hit when you have JT? I know JT is, he's got a sore knee, but I'm going JT, the pure athlete, over Stubbs, the vibe guy for the team, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, vibes are very important, and I think that played a role into what they did at the trade deadline, because I think Dombrowski, and to his credit, I mean, the Phillies do have a very close knit clubhouse, and I think that is important. But let's keep it real. I mean, Stubbs may be a good party guy, but he's hitting what's he hitting, like 180? I mean, it's. If we look at pure baseball ability, I'm sorry, man.
All day, baby. You're right.
I think, to me, I mean, Marshawn. I know Marshawn wasn't up that long, but like I saw enough out of him to show that I think he's better than Stubbs. Like when JT's out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. And to answer your question, Sean. Wednesdays from 7 to 8, Farzy and Dave Spadaro tomorrow night. So make sure you definitely check that out. Eagles Insider, Dave Spadaro. So
nice.
And this is definitely the time of year for that, because first preseason game coming up on Friday.
Friday night, baby. Ravens.
Yeah. So let's but I want to just finish up on the Phillies here. So. Yeah. The weekend was a tough weekend. You had, in Seattle, Friday night, the Tyler Phillips magic. I mean, that gets a shame. That kid had 2 or 3 good outings in a row. Yeah. Friday night, I mean, he just had nothing. I mean, what was it like? What was it like, 8-0 in the second inning or something like that?
Yeah. The kid has it. You can't get like you said, Joe. His past games, he was on point. But everybody's like gonna have their good games and bad games. Look at Noah. He had his bad games, and it was a positive note to see like Wheeler on Sunday to actually get that solid win. 9 strikeouts, I believe, 2 walks, 8 strong innings, and his pitches were on. And before we get off the topic, like you can agree, these head umpires, boy, do they not have a set strike zone. It's here, it's there, ball. I'm like, wow. But you can't leave it into the ump's hands. But is it piss you off? Oh yeah, absolutely. Regardless of the team, you want to see a good called game, But.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll get Paul's comment here, and then I'll get into what you said here. It's crazy the Braves, to me, are underachieving this year. Plus, major injuries are still only 5.5 back. But look out for the Mets, only 7 back. Okay. But anyway, what I was going to say is to touch on what you were saying about the umpires. I mean, I was actually this past weekend. I actually went up to the Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown, New York. Me and Johnny took a ride up, and ironically, now I freely admit, we were at the bar having a couple beers. I wasn't really watching the game, but ironically, they actually had the game on the TV. There was like a TV in the corner, and I guess it was like MLB Network or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they had it on. They had it on like Seattle's network, and even me having like a bunch of Coronas like could see that was a strike that Estevez threw, and they called it a ball. And then the very next pitch, he walked the dude in.
That pissed me off, man. I wanted to get my remote because you work so hard, and then that's how you end the game. Come on, man. That's like the Kyle Finnegan blocking. Same bullshit. But like you said.
Yeah. So, it's just, it's one of those things. But hey, good teams overcome that. I mean, earlier in the year when the Phillies were playing really good, it didn't matter if the umpire made shitty calls or good calls. They were rocking teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here I got another comment here. Here's Paul Spencer. Phillies should rock Kershaw tonight. His first start, he only lasted 3 innings and got rocked for 6 runs early. This is his second start of the season. Well, I mean, let's hope. You know what I mean? I mean, what they should do and what they're doing are 2 totally different things.
Yeah, yeah, on paper, you're right. Now, since we're still on the Phillies topic, what do? Do you switch up the lineup maybe, or what's best needed? Some well-needed rest for some guys, because Nick has, he's hitting the ball, but do you give guys?
No, fuck them, dude. They don't get any rest, bro. I mean, like the bottom line is, I mean, I see what you're saying, like, but like, my thing is, what do you do with the lineup? There's nothing really you can do. First off, you're not going to take like Schwarber's getting on base, so it's not like when you look at this lineup, it's not like you would say like, oh, Schwarber's not getting it done, so let's take him out of leadoff. No, that doesn't make any sense. If Schwarber's getting on base, what are you going to do? Like Stott. Now, two encouraging things is Bohm started to hit the ball a little bit more, and Stott has started to hit the ball a little bit more. And now you're hoping that after Sunday maybe Bryce gets it going. Who's killing this Phillies team right now is Trey Turner, and honestly, dude, Marsh is killing them. Brandon Marsh is killing this team, and some of these lineups, that is one thing. Some lineups, like occasionally he's hitting like 5th or 6th. Like, dude, the way he's hitting the ball, I think Marsh needs to be hitting like 8th or 9th, dude. He's really struggling.
He is struggling for the simple fact I think he's hurt, and they're not saying anything. Because remember, there was a game where he was in and then they took him out. Like, for what reason?
Yeah.
But, yeah, something's got to give. You're right. Trey Turner, 0 for 4. Come on, man. I'm paying you all this money and you're shitting the bed.
Yeah, I mean, Turner was off to a really good start, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, and it looked like he didn't miss a beat. And now I want to say that, the last 2 to 3 weeks, I mean, he's been terrible. I mean, what's the answer with him? I don't know. I mean, remember last year they gave him the standing ovation? Well, you know what? That ship sailed. We're not doing that again. Like, dude, he's got to get himself out of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So that was, Friday night they got their ass kicked. Saturday, they had a 5-0 lead. Unfortunately, blew it. It was, it was. And that's the other thing that's discouraging too. Like the bullpen, like everybody's, it's not just one guy. They're all taking turns. Like one night it's Alvarado, the next night it's Strom, the next night it's Kerkering. The next night it's and Saturday it was Hoffman. Hoffman got something. You know what I mean?
It's a revolving door. Yeah, you're right.
And another issue too. Like you got Ranger now. Ranger's on the second start missed. Like I'm getting concerned. Okay, are the innings gotten to Ranger because now he's got a sore back. And he's out. And then now you got a big game tonight. You got Sanchez versus Kershaw, and Sanchez got rocked a little bit his last time out. Like Sanchez had a great first half of the year. He made the All-Star team. But, let's keep it real, man. I mean, he's, this is like his first full time really through the league. Are people starting to figure him out?
Possibly.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with young pitchers, dude. Like, they could look great the first time through the league, even the first time and a half through the league. All of a sudden, dude, you get a scouting report on a guy. And boom.
Yeah. Like Tyler Phillips, for example. Are they starting to figure him out? He was,
maybe.
A couple good question. you can go for so long without people noticing you until they finally crack the code, and then it's
yeah.
on, you know.
Yeah, I mean, even even a guy like Paul Skeens, like you look at Paul Skeens. Now, don't get me wrong, that that kid has great stuff. The kid from the Pirates, and he's still pitching really good.
Yeah.
But his last 2 times out, he hasn't been quite as effective. Now, do I think he's going to be a great pitcher? Yeah, I think that kid's got all the tools to be a great pitcher.
Oh, I like that.
But it goes into what I'm saying though. Like, yeah, his first 5 or 6 starts, everybody's like, oh my God, look at this fucking kid, right? Now, as good as he is, there starts to get a bit of a book on him where now people are starting to hit him just a little bit more. You know what I mean?
True.
So that that's an adjustment, and that's been a problem with the Phillies too. Like, you look at the first half. I mean, the starting pitching and bullpen really carried this team. Now, what's happened the last month or so? Bullpen started to falter a little bit. Ranger hasn't been as effective, and even last night's game. Now, Sunday. Thank God for Sunday. I mean, Wheeler, he struggled versus the Yankees last week, but Wheeler became Wheeler again. I mean, Wheeler pitched a great game Sunday. God,
Yeah.
But then you go to last night, and what's your thoughts on Nola? Paul? I mean, Sean. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I like Nola. I think he was worth signing because over the course of 162, he's going to give you a lot of innings. He's going to give you more good starts than bad starts. So I'm not arguing keeping Nola, but goddamn, dude, sure as shit. Maybe it's just me, but it seems to me like every single fucking time you really need a big outing out of him or in a big spot, he always has that one inning. Like last night in particular, they're up, like you said, they were up 2-0. And, you needed a shutdown inning or two from Aaron Nola, one of your supposed aces.
Mm-hmm.
And did he pitch terrible last night? No, but he had that one inning where he gave up 4 runs due to change the whole complexion of the game. What's your thoughts on Nola? Because my impression is he's a good pitcher and he's good to have on a team, but he's more of like a second or third starter to me than he is anywhere near an ace.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I had this conversation with my buddy Tim, who chimes in, and he always is serving up meatballs, and I mean, he's not lights out like we said. Your ace. He's that 2-3 guy, and he likes to serve up meatballs, in those key critical hits. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. Yeah,
I got a comment. Michael Zimmerman with a comment here. We're going to get in the Eagles in a couple minutes. He says, Eagles look good. I'm taking Sasquatch in my fantasy league. I'm trying to think. He must be talking about Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert would be probably that, right? Yeah. I don't know. Who else would be Sasquatch? He's the only dude I could think of with the big-ass beard or whatever.
That's Dallas. Dallas looks like a guy that's been in the wild for a minute in the woods with that beard and that disheveled-ass hair he has.
Yeah, well, And the one thing about Kellen Moore's offense too is the fact he likes to use the tight end a lot. So I agree with Mike Zimmerman there. I think if he doesn't get hurt, I think this actually is the Dallas Goedert breakout year.
It is. It has to be. And then you got, if we're going to get into Eagles talk, you got 3 other guys.
Oh, Saquon. Well, them too. Saquon.
Well, the reason why we said Dallas Goedert because he said Sasquatch, but
Saquon. Well, you know what? Hey, I think Saquon could have a hell of a year. I can see that happening too. Isn't that funny though? How would you like to be Dallas Goedert? We're just assuming he's talking about Dallas Goedert because he said Sasquatch. Yeah. I had no idea who the hell he was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. So
yes.
But so we had so anyway, unfortunately the Phillies lost again last night. All right, let's get into some Eagles in a minute, but before that, let's break down this Phillies week. Now we still got what? Two more in LA, right?
3 in Arizona.
Is it 3 in Arizona or 4?
I double check on me. I might
Hang on,
be
let me
right
look. Either way, hang on. I think it's 4, bro, but I could be wrong.
If you're wrong, give me 50 push-ups.
Ha, no problem. All right, let's see. I could use the work. Yeah, it's 4, dude.
Okay, so you got 6 games, 2 with the Dodgers, 4 with the Diamondbacks, and then after the Diamondbacks, I believe we come home. Who do we play?
Yeah, so after that they come home. After that they come home for two versus Miami, and then 4 versus the Nationals, and then they go to Atlanta for a big series. So and then at Kansas City.
That's going to be when we get to it on the next show, Kansas City. That they got a lot of fighting, man. I love that whole lineup, and their pitching's good too. You know.
All right, so let's just do the rest of this week. Because Monday, when we're back Monday, they're actually off Monday. Then they host the Marlins on Tuesday. So in these next 6, how the Phillies doing? 2 more in LA and 4 in Arizona. How they doing?
Shoot.
Actually, 2 questions. How are they doing, and what's this lead? Right now, it's 5.5. Where's the lead at when they get home?
I'll say 3-3.
Okay.
And where's the lead? Huh. I mean, shit. It has to be towards the end of the Arizona game. You got to do something. No.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's the lead in the NL East? Like they're up 5.5 games right now. So they have the Phillies. All right, I'll tell you who Atlanta plays. Okay. So the Phillies have those tough games, right?
Yes.
And Atlanta. Let me see. I'll tell you, the Phillies did get a break that Atlanta squandered a couple at home versus. All right, so Atlanta right now.
It's 7, right? 7.5.
All right, what?
Are they 7.5 games back?
No, it's 5.5. That's why I'm asking. So Atlanta has 3. Atlanta has 3. They're hosting Milwaukee for 3.
Okay.
And then they play in Colorado for 3.
Okay.
See, so that's tough. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking at Atlanta 6. I see Atlanta going possibly. I'll pray for 4-2, but they could go 5-1. I'll say Atlanta goes 4-2, and the Phillies go 3-3. Actually, this is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping Atlanta goes 4-2 because I think they could go 5-1 or 6-0. Although Milwaukee's playing good ball, and I'm hoping if that's the case, then if Atlanta could go 4-2, then we're still up 4.5 when we get home.
There you go. Back to the 4.5. And I agree with you. 4-2, even though I see maybe like Colorado Rockies surprising them with some losses, but yeah, 3-3 for us. 4-2.
Now the concern level is, what if the Phillies go 2-4 and Atlanta goes 5-1? Bro, if that's the case, we're limping home with only a 2.5 game lead.
Totally unacceptable. Yeah, you're right.
And that, you know what I mean? If that's the case, Phillies are limping home, what once was like over a 10-game lead where everybody was talking shit saying this division was over. Phillies coming home with a 2.5 game lead and with a big series in Atlanta 2 weeks from now. This I hate to say it, but this division's wide open, bro.
It is. It's a roller coaster, you know. Let me take that back. A pinball game, you know. But yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's you know, the Phillies had, you know, it's kind of frustrating because they had this huge ass lead.
Yeah.
You know, in division, in division, in the league, and they really squandered it away. And now all of a sudden we're looking at a dogfight. And I got to be honest with you, man. If the Phillies don't win the East this year with Acuna out, for the year, with Strider out for the year, and even Albies is out right now, bro.
Yeah,
For like,
you got three key guys, like you said. Yeah.
That's like equivalent to like the Phillies losing Zach Wheeler, Bryce Harper, and fucking Turner or something.
Yeah, like three top guys. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, the Braves have had a ton of injuries, and when I think injuries, man, I think of this guy right here, my man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. If you get hurt, say you're got a slip and fall, or you get hurt on the job, or a personal injury, make sure you call my man Big Al. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, or 3 offices in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. He's got Philadelphia, PA, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and Pittsburgh, PA. So, I mean, hey, I don't think Ronald Acuna has to call Ronald Acuna. You don't have to call Big Al, Paul, but I mean Sean. But if one of us unfortunately got hurt on the job, my man gets you paid, bro.
All right, you got that right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you know what? Phillies have been kind of getting us down lately. But one thing I'm not down about at all is the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I cannot wait. First off, I mean, football in general, bro. I mean, we got a couple weeks from now, we got fantasy drafts. You know what I mean? We got preseason just started. You just had the Hall of Fame game. So anyway, I guess I kind of want to talk about the whole league, but I guess we'll touch on the Eagles first, and some of the big training camp battles. What's your, I'm looking right now. I think they have a battle. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but you got a battle at right guard, probably between Becton and Steen. You got a battle at wide receiver 3, between Paris Campbell, John Ross, Covey, and the kid that's that I kind of heard was turning heads a little bit in training camp is the draft pick, the big tall kid, Johnny Wilson. What's your thoughts on how he's supposedly looked?
Johnny Wilson is a physical specimen. The kid's tall. He has the height. He has the weight. But the only downfall, and I think we brought that up, is he has drops. The only way you can fix that is get on that jug machine, do like Devontae Smith, 100, 200 balls. You want it, that's what you do. You hone your skills. You want to be better. And what better or not to learn from A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who came in the camp looking slim and trim, a little bit more muscle, looks faster. They don't call him the Slim Reaper for nothing. I just love the way he runs routes, and he's a go-to wide receiver. He's got sure hands, So, but Johnny Wilson, yeah, I hope he does crack the lineup because you got a big body. What more to ask with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? That's a pretty solid lineup. And Johnny Wilson, Dallas Goedert, I'm hoping the best for him. You know what I mean? And it's like I always say, next man up mentality. And I think he has that. But does he want it? Hell yeah, I think so. But hopefully he can get rid of the dropsies. And like I said, the only way you can do that is the jug machine. Hone your skills.
Yeah, and also let's be honest too. I mean, Howie Roseman's always looking in the waiver wire from other teams or whatever. So, let's be honest. I mean, the wide receiver 3 that starts the season may not even be on this football team right now.
I'm hoping for, and I think I always brought it up, and I know you like him. I like to see Hunter Renfrow here because he's the true slot. I hope not for a lot of money, but what more to ask for coming to Philly? A great organization, winning organization, but that's my thought on somebody coming here, Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, well, when you look at guys like that, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's somebody that has experience in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on a second. Actually, I was trying to Google him because I think he's still out there, but I was kind of.
No, he is. He's still out there.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that somebody didn't sign him, and maybe I missed it. But I don't. Yeah, here we go. Hunter Renfroe. Yeah, it still says. It still says. Yeah, he's still a free agent, bro. You're right. Only 28 years old.
Oh man. Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? He could be one of those. This could be something where they want to see. He's a little similar to like a Britton Covey type, right? Because Hunter Renfroe's kind of like a quick guy. So maybe what you do is you play out training camp. You see if Covey could be that guy, or you see if Wilson or one of these other guys could be the guy. And then maybe a week or two from now, if nobody's really showing out, then maybe you make a move like that.
Mm-hmm. True.
So that's an interesting one. How about the right guard battle? I mean, you got it looked like Tyler Steen was penciled in to be the starting right guard, but he was out he had a little bit of injury bug, and then it looked like Becton has kind of come in there. That'll be an interesting battle because I think they brought Becton in to be like a swing tackle, but yeah. I'll tell you, man, I'm really intrigued to see what what's his face, what Stoutland could do with that kid.
He's good. He's going to transform him, Joey. We know it. Like I always said, Stoutland knew he can get the most polished guy, and he might have some kind of indiscrepancy, and just take that away, mix it up, and make him the best to his ability. Like for example, Michael Becton with the Jets, injured, so quote unquote a bust. But look at his size, man. The size and weight, it don't lie, man. And he was good in college, but the injury bug really kicked him in his ass. Now he's with the Eagles. He's with a great O-line coach in Stoutland. And I think Stoutland might have transformed him into – you might see him as the starter. Because like you said, Tyler Steen, it's a shame, promising, came in the camp to be the starter, but has that nagging injury. Can he surpass him? Maybe, but it's always good to see surprises, and I wouldn't be mad with Becton. Hopefully he is what they got him for, that good O-lineman that he was, so I'm excited for him,
Yeah, well, I was going to say the one thing that people have been saying about Becton is the fact that he's 6'8". So a lot of people are like, well, you don't see many 6'8" guards. And I get that, because most guards are obviously shorter than 6'8". But I'm looking right here, Landon Dickerson, who's like one of the best guards in football. Well, he's 6'6". That's only 2-inch difference. It's not like, so, maybe that doesn't matter as much to Stoutland. You know what I'm saying?
I think what matters the most is if you really look at O-lineman technique, you know what I mean? Of pulling, blocking, like that's key. And that's what Stoutland brings out in the best with all these O-linemen. You know what I mean? Like the one guy that I can't wait to see is the kid I told you before, Trevor Teagan, the rookie from Michigan. That kid has some quick feet, man. Just imagine on that line, And I'm hyped up for Juergens, man.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Kelsey handpicked him to be on this team is special. And I sent that video to you. I just love his work ethic. And I think he's going to prove people wrong, that he is that O-lineman. And he is in the shadows of Kelsey, a future Hall of Famer, But he has some big shoes to fill, and I think he'll do it, man. But I'm all for it. I think he's going to do a hell of a job because we got Stoutland and this team, It's like one big family, They all are there for each other, you know what I mean? And then the addition of the offense coordinator, Kellen Moore, like you said earlier, the tight end's more involved. I can't wait for the man in motion. Teams like 49ers and all the other teams in the league ain't going to know what the hell we're running now that we got man in motion. And now we got Saquon, like you said, who you like and love. You know, they're going to get him more in running plays and pass plays. And he's got this chip on his shoulder, and I think he's going to break out with against the Giants. I'm sorry, the Giants. So yeah.
Michael Zimmerman with a comment here. He says, "Yeah, with the big contract, they'll give him the ball." I certainly think. I mean, as long as he stays healthy, I think Saquon's going to have a big year. And I'll tell you, you know, since we're touching on the offense, I'll tell you another guy that they say is actually really showing out at camp, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Supposedly, this kid Will Shipley that they drafted from Clemson.
Yep, you brought up the article. I see it. Danny Woodhead.
Yeah, yeah.
He's that ideal height, Joey. The same height, I think, as Danny Woodhead. Maybe the same weight. Who knows? I don't have it right in front of me. But like you said, he's that multitasked running back. He's that pesky running back. You know, that flea, that tick. You know, he's going to get in your ass and be a nuisance. And I love it. And I think Kellen Moore, it's going to be, I'm hoping all the stuff that you're hearing, I hope it just comes true, you know, because you got Saquon behind an awesome O-line. What did he have? I mean, playing at MetLife, it's the new vet, like we said before, but now he's playing at the Link and behind one of the best O-lines. So sky's the limit, you know?
Yeah, I'll tell you. And I'll tell you another guy, you know, I know many Eagles fans were pissed off at him last year, and you know, and even before would always be like, why the hell is he always out there? But you know, supposedly Gainwell's looked very good in training camp too. And the thing is that, you know, the thing with Gainwell, I mean, is that, you know, the Eagles have never really, you know, since Sirianni's been here, they really haven't used the running backs in the passing game that much. But it looks like Kellen Moore wants to do that. And if that's the case, of course Saquon's going to be the guy. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You're not going to pay Saquon all that money to have him not on the field. But I do think that, you know, you're going to want to have him fresh down the stretch too. So I think you may see Gainwell and Shipley in there and passing downs, coming out of the backfield, throwing them the ball a little bit, just to cut back a little bit on Saquon's workload early in the year. So this way he's ready to take it home, you know, December, January, and of course, ultimately February.
Absolutely. You have to. You have to get them mixed up. Give them different outlooks, you know, mix it up with different intangibles, you know, audibles and shit like that. I mean, like you said, you want to keep Saquon fresh because you didn't pay him the money to, knock on wood, be the guy to get hurt. Because if that happens, who's up? Gainwell and Shipley. But, I mean, it looks positive for me, man. I'm just hyped up with this new look offense. And I think Jordan Davis is going to have a good season. He shredded the dreads. He looks not slim and trim in that word, but he looks faster. He's blowing up the hole, which is awesome. So the next man next to him can get in there and, you know, get a sack, get a key tackle. I mean, yeah. So I just hope Huff is that guy. Not to say he's going to be Reddick, to be that guy that they paid for and to play to his ability.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, it's funny, yeah, because we all, you know, I think we're kind of in agreement that as long as Juergens isn't too much of a downgrade from Kelsey, and as long as they can kind of figure out the wide receiver 3 and right guard is at least competent, okay? I mean, you know, it's, you know, 2 years ago when they made the Super Bowl, they had the best offensive line in football because you know, people forget Sayamalu was a hell of a player too.
It was, man.
Sayamalu really didn't get. Sayamalu was a guy, although he did kill us with that big penalty in the Super Bowl. Yeah. But the guy had a great year. And they missed him last year. Let's not kid ourselves. That offensive line was still good, but they missed Sayamalo last year.
Oh, damn right they did.
So, right. But as long as Juergens isn't too much of a step back, and as long as right guard can be okay, and they could figure out the third receiver, I think the offense should have no. If the offense doesn't score at least like 24 to 28 points a game, I mean, it's a fucking disgrace.
Oh, absolutely.
This offense should be scoring almost 30 a week.
Absolutely. Look at the guys on. we just said it earlier. I mean, yeah, it's a given. All
right. So that being said, now for this football team to do what we want them to do, which is to make a Super Bowl run. Let's, like you said, let's check out this defense. So you touched on Jordan Davis. I mean, Jordan Davis, he looks like he's in shape. Thing that scares me though, Sean, is last year he kind of looked like he was in shape, and he played really good football up until that Bills game. Remember that play he made? Remember the Bills game?
Out of the pocket.
His fat ass chased Josh Allen out of the pocket. He dove. That motherfucker didn't catch his breath like the rest. He lost his breath like the rest of the goddamn year, bro. He sucked after that.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he might have bruised a rib. Who the hell knows? But you're right. He wasn't the same, And like we said last week, to bring up the point since we're on defense, like the defensive line, I think of Jomo, in my eyes, he's going to be that sleeper. Second-year player. I love him.
I like that kid. They're tall. You know what? I mean, again, it's training camp, so it's like, you sometimes you read things with a grain of salt because, like, how many years have we read a guy looks great in training camp and then the pads come on? You're like, man, this dude sucks. You know what I'm saying? But like you said though, you were telling me about that kid last year. You said he looks really good.
Yeah, dude. He played for Texas Longhorns. He has the size. He has the weight. He's just a bull, man. And he has great technique. Once he is the first man off the line and gets you and beats you, it's game over, And we have so much talent on that. The weak link is kind of the defensive front, but we got so many guys. It's a revolving door. Huff.
Yeah.
Williams, who I think is going to do good. And there's a lot of guys, man. I mean,
how about Nolan Smith? I mean, I'm a little encouraged. They said Nolan Smith put on some muscle this offseason.
How is that shoulder? How is that shoulder? Did you rehab it? Did you take care of it? I love the extra pound of muscle and weight and stuff like that, but it all comes down to staying healthy. And I think he has great technique. That's what I love about him with all these Georgia guys. They got great technique. He's so fast off the line. It's that technique. If he could beat his man first, it's game over. Look at what Reggie White would do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's no Reggie White, but if he has the proper technique, it's lights out. I mean, for any player, to have that technique and that speed down,
Yeah, to answer Ken Fry's question, how did the Eagles replace Kelsey? Well, Ken, they drafted this kid Cam Juergens 2 years ago. Kelsey actually scouted him himself. Juergens started at right guard last year. Now he's going to play center. Will the O-line be a strength? I mean, it should be, even with losing Kelsey. I mean, you still got Jordan Mailata, one of the top. What would you say? Jordan Mailata is probably a top 10 left tackle in this league, right?
He is 6'8" and close to 400 pounds. Hell yeah, Landon.
Right. And then Lane Johnson, even at his advanced age, if he's not the best right tackle, he's top 3 to 5 still, even at 33, 34 years old. So yeah, the O-line should still be a strength. And getting back to the defense, I think I'll tell you another guy on defense I think is primed for a huge year, Sean. And I'm actually encouraged by this too, is Milton Williams. Now I read that the Eagles wanted to extend him, but he apparently he's betting on himself. And I'll tell you, I I kind of like when guys bet on themselves sometimes because I'm anticipating a huge ass year out of him. And the other thing that's encouraging is Fangio in his press conference the other day said that he wanted to trade for Milton Williams last year, and how he was like, "Fuck that, I ain't trading this kid."
Yeah.
So,
good.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say,
it's technique, man. He was great at Kansas, and he just, when you get the right coach, they can crack the code on you and it's game over. He just has that motor that we saw last year, but we didn't see it enough because he didn't get in enough. Now it's his opportunity, that Fletcher's retired. And it's, once again, like I always say, next man up mentality. And you got him, a Jomo, and Jalen Carter's going to bring it. I can't wait to see that, But who really gets the cornerback spot across from Darius Little Place Slay?
Well, yeah, that, and who's the slot corner. So I'll tell you that now that the secondary, the secondary was absolute fucking garbage last year. It was probably the worst secondary that I've ever seen us have. And we've had some shitty ones. I remember.
Absolutely. We can go on and on. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember Izell Toast Jenkins, I remember what's
Oakland Raiders.
Yeah. Dude, what's funny? I still remember that night when we got it. Remember the night we got Asamoah? And then later that night, the Phillies got Hunter Pence. And I was in a bar, like high-fiving people saying, man, we going to the World Series and the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And shit just came crashing down, brother. You know what I mean?
They put a foot in your ass and it didn't come out.
I leave that John, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, please don't do that again. And another thing to me, since we got this preseason game, I know you heard on WIP, they were saying, do the starters need to start? I think so. You got to get in that game mode, because it obviously showed last year. You got to get these guys. These guys don't get on the field, any professional player in any sport say, am I going to get hurt today? No, you go out there, you perform your best, and you do what you got to do. But these guys, it's like getting the rust off, getting loose and being game ready. You're not practicing or even playing the game. What's that say? What's that going to do? You're a great player, but you're not getting the hits, and you're getting the reps, but you're not getting hit. They got to start something. I don't care if it's like 5-10 reps. They got to start one series or two, please.
What's funny, Sean, is that, like, I'll preface this by saying, like, I'm in 100% agreement with you. Like, you don't have to play a ton, but at least a series or two. But saying this though, ironically, even though we're criticizing the Eagles because they never play anybody, the Eagles have the best record in National Football League each of the last 2 years between September and October. So it's like,
true.
So you know what I mean? It is like a catch-22, because guys like us are like, yeah, man, fuck that. Go out and play a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But like, I guess the proof's in the pudding, because they, like last year, although let's be honest, last year was fool's gold. They went 10-1, but they stole all those games. And then all of a sudden, as the year went on, we saw they weren't that good.
They showed their stripes. Yeah, exactly. And I know you and I can say this. Hugh Douglas said, I'm old school. They should start. They have to. Because what are you proving? Not. Like, you can't go in that game, like I once again saying, oh, am I going to get hurt? No, just go out and do what you got to do. You got to get those reps.
I hear you. So
play.
I got
Green Bay's playing there. That's going to be something to look at. Green Bay's playing their players, starters.
Yeah, and that's who we play week 1. So we'll see. But all right, let me got a couple more things before we bolt out of here. I have slot corner with a question mark, but really it's outside corner and slot corner. So it looks like it looks like on the outside you got Isaiah Rodgers and Ringo are kind of rotating to see who's going to win that job. Unfortunately, our man Cooper DeJean is out with what was it, a hamstring?
Hamstring, yeah.
Okay, so I get a little disappointed we can't see him compete, but loving what I'm hearing supposedly of what's going on with Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, love that kid. Absolutely love that kid. I mean, they got him in the slot, and he's been playing some slot, and then also they have him locking up one-on-one with AJ Brown. He's talking shit. I mean,
that's what it's all about.
Love
man.
that.
And even AJ Brown is praising. He's going the best of the best, Manu Imanu, like you said, and that's what you want, because you're going to go up against your Ayuks, your CD Lambs, your Rama St. Brown, like Devontae Adams. I can go on Tyreek Hill. You want to go against the best.
Yeah.
I shut their ass down. He's that guy. Put up or shut up, and I see him as talking that shit and backing it up, letting his play speak for him. You need that, and then to sprinkle a little bit of CJ GJ, he even gets better.
It's funny because me and Shay were texting each other back and forth about CJ DJ, and we both said the same thing. In fact, we said it last year in the NFC Championship game, like when the Lions were playing. Just watching his swag, and we both said, like, dude, this defense missed his swag, bro. So, like, the bottom line is now they got him back. Like, I'm fully anticipating between guys like CJ Gardner-Johnson, Quinyon Mitchell talking shit. There's
I like Devin White too. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to bring something. But go ahead.
No, well, exactly. Well, the thing, I mean, Sean, because you used to play defense. I mean, defense is about talent, of course. It's also about knowing where you got to be, which you hope Fangio could coach these guys up. But a lot of defense is about attitude, though.
Yeah,
defense is attitude. You can't be a pussy out there. You know what I'm saying?
Sit your ass down, please.
Yeah,
I mean. Yeah, you have to, like you said with CJ, you have to have that swag. You got to get under the other team's skin, whether it's talking, your play. Some guys, it's a mental game. You can get in a guy's head, it's game over. And the best movie was Program.
Start Lattimore.
Lattimore and the linebacker kind of portrayed like a Ray Lewis in.
That movie was great where the guy's like, seat at the table,
You're the one that shot my grandmom, I'm gonna, I can't say, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just hyped up for it, man. Like a little kid in the candy store and waiting on Christmas for this team,
Yeah, so well, I mean, and I'll tell you what, we went from having, like we were saying, the shittiest secondary of like in years to there's going to be a good football player cut. There's going to be a couple good players cut from this football team. I mean, you look at right now, you got these battles, like we were saying, you got, all right, let's look at who's definitely going to make the team. You got Slay at the one corner, right?
Yeah.
You got Isaiah Rodgers and/or Ringo at the other corner.
Yeah.
Well, all three of them cats are making the team, so that's 3 spots right there. Quinyon Mitchell's 4. Cooper DeJean, even though he's hurt right now, he's going to make the team. That's 5, right? Mm-hmm. So then you got guys like Eli. You still got Avonte Maddox. They brought back.
I don't even say his name. Say it.
Well. The only way Avonte Maddox is here maybe is he does have a little bit of safety experience, so maybe he sticks as kind of like a backup safety type guy.
Is there anybody else on the team? I haven't really I'm just sick of the Avonte let's pick him up because he knows the defense. I hope he's just a damn body. That's in my opinion.
Well, what about Burt? Ironically,
Burberry, I think they might trade. Colts, Falcons, keep your eye on that.
Well, maybe. And you know what's ironic about Bradbury, too? Now, the fact that Mitchell looks so good, Rogers looks good, Ringo looks good. You invested a lot in these guys. It does, with having C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, it does kind of make you wonder. I know they moved Bradbury to safety, but remember 2 years ago, Bradbury was pretty good because he had help over the top. I guess what I'm saying is maybe another team would see that and be like, say a team loses a couple corners, maybe they'd bring him in just because he has experience. You know what I mean? As long as they have a guy to help him deep, Yeah. Because last year, without the safety help, he was, we all know he was absolutely atrocious.
Oh, absolutely. And then another thing, too, with the linebackers, if we want to get on that, the Kobe Dean, Fangio said he's not really impressing.
I heard he looks like shit. He can't cover anything.
Well, it's a different game, bro. College and pros are totally two different. And then you got the guy, Zach Bond, who you thought
was showing out, they said.
Special player. Now you might have him as a starter.
Yeah.
Go figure. But like I said, next man up mentality. He wants it more.
You know what? And then you got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. has been getting a little bit of tick, at times.
Mm-hmm.
That's a position where Howie may,
he never does. We never do. You know damn well I wanted the kid the Packers drafted him, the linebacker, right after we drafted DeJean. I wanted that Texas A&M linebacker. That's one thing we don't do. We don't draft linebackers. Would it be nice? Hell yeah. But it's not in our DNA for this team. But you should. It's bullshit.
They supposedly kind of like that white kid. What's his name? Summerlin? How the fuck you say his name? Summerlin or Summerlin?
Oh, Van Summerlin.
There you go. Yeah. I mean it.
Hey, but yeah, I mean,
he has some good measurables. You know what I mean? They said, he was undrafted last year, but he supposedly ran a good 40s, pretty quick. So, I know what you said, Howie doesn't ever spend on linebackers, but do you think it's possible that could be something where in the final cuts, he could be looking at the waiver wire for guys to add to this team? You know what I mean?
He should. And then another thing before we get out, Shaquille Quarterman from the Jacksonville Jaguars, he signed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just a body, but to bring up your point, I want a linebacker. I want a linebacker like back in the days, your Evans, your Britt Hager, Willie T. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah, on that gangrene Eagles defense, everybody talks about Reggie, Clyde, Jerome, and people do talk about Seth and but to your point, that was a great defensive line, but you had Seth Joyner, Byron Evans on that team, and Willie T in '91.
Yeah,
they had three really good linebackers on that team.
Yeah, and since we're talking a little bit, hopefully Eric Allen gets his due, man. He needs that knock on that Hall of Fame door. His stats don't lie, and what more does he have to do? Shit. He has to be wearing that yellow jacket. The time is now, Yeah. Enough's enough, man.
You know what's funny is remember last year when we were honored to have the Godfather of football, Ray Dininger, on. We had that conversation. That was one of the first things when we talked about the Hall of Fame or something, that he brought that up.
I know. I brought up.
You brought it up.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on him not getting the nod for the Hall of Fame? And then he just broke down his stats. It's the truth. The stats don't lie.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a favoritism game, don't you think? The name and somewhat a kind of a player, because we could talk it for another time. There's some players that don't deserve to be in it, but they are.
Well, here's my thing. Rondé Barber was a hell of a player. Aeneas Williams was a hell of a player, and I'm not going to take any. I think both those guys deserve to be in. I'm not taking anything away from either of them, but if both those guys are in, I don't think they were any better than Eric Allen was.
Yeah, he even said it.
So I think Eric Allen should be in.
Damn right, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look at what he did. He was that solid defensive corner, running, intercepting, tackles, stopping, shut down people. I mean, but like I said, who knows?
How about longevity too? I mean, how many corner? I mean, he played corner from what, like 88 through like 01, 02, and he played like 14 years at corner in this league.
Yes, he did. Not only with us, the Saints, the Raiders, exactly. Come on,
I mean, that's a lot of guys can't. A lot of guys maybe play a few years at corner, then they move them to safety. I'm pretty sure Allen's stuck at corner the whole time. Yeah. I don't recall him moving the safety. I know as great as Rod Woodson was, and Rod Woodson was a great player. He played safety at the end of his career. Same thing with Charles Woodson.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got that free space. You're the center field. You're not only that great of an athlete, you're surveying that whole damn field. You're almost like a linebacker in the backfield, in the back. Because Joey up front, there, you know what I mean? And all those guys we spoke of, they did that. And the stats don't lie. I mean, yeah. And he was a hell of a player, Eric Allen.
Yeah, no, hey man, I'm in agreement, bro. I totally agree. And even you keep saying stats don't lie, and I agree with you there. But just the eye test. When I watched him play football in college,
there you go.
I thought year in, year out, I looked at that guy play, and I was like, this guy's one of the top 5 corners in the National Football League every year.
Yeah, it's one of those.
You know what I mean?
You probably watch when you're watching a game, but you have your. He was one of those guys that you would lock onto and just watch only him against his man, and then you're like, damn, and then go over and watch Reggie and Jerome just annihilate the O line. You can ask Phil Simms, but like you said, it was awesome to watch that defense,
Yeah, that was exciting. Well, let's be honest. And this, I mean, I still love football. Don't get me wrong, we all do. But we're never going to see. You're never going to see an era of defenses like that anymore. Just simply because of how the game's officiated, the rules. I mean, now
changed.
Now you watch a football game, and you basically, although let's be honest though. Everybody talks about Pat Mahomes, and I think Pat Mahomes is could be on track to be the GOAT when he's done. Yeah. But the Chiefs won that Super Bowl last year. That defense carried them most of the way.
Damn right.
It was that defense.
It was it was the corner, the kid from Penn State. He did the cornerback, the linebacker, and then the guy that they signed, the defensive end. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But I mean, of course, but since he's so great, when it became winning time, Pat Mahomes
showed up.
It was winning time. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you look at defense in football anymore. You're never going to have that shutdown defense. Defense now is pretty much like, okay. We need a big stop in a big moment or a big turnover, and we got to win the game. Most of these games you got to win like 27-24 or 30-27. A lot of these, you know what I mean? A lot of these games, it's basically both teams are moving the football, and you have to be the one that comes up with the big play at the big time.
Yeah.
So I don't. The days of those gangrene Eagles defense and the 85 Bears and the Giants linebackers, the LT, that shit's you want some great defensive players, but just the way it's officiated, it's so hard to do that anymore.
Absolutely, because half those guys those guys would either get fined, suspended, or ejected out of the game. The way Andre Waters hit, the way they got thrown. You're absolutely right. the game is changed because now protect the quarterback. But those defenses, like we all said, were no nonsense. They punched you in the mouth. That was their statement saying, look, we're here for 4 quarters and good luck,
You know,
and they weren't backing down.
Yeah, you know what team I used to love watching back in the day? Even though they never won anything, I used to love watching that Saints, the Dome Patrol with like Pat Swilling, Ricky Jackson.
Oh, the Raging Cajuns. The Cajuns. Pat Swilling, not Willie Renfro.
Ricky Jackson.
Sam Mills.
You know the fourth one? He actually played for the Eagles in 1994. He was done, but he played here. Vaughn Johnson. No, Vaughn Johnson.
Vaughn Johnson.
He was number 4. I think they had 1 year where 1 or 2 years where all 4 of their linebackers made the Pro Bowl.
No, they did. I think
that's how good that team. They were exciting as shit to watch.
What were they called? The Raging Cajuns or something?
Actually, it's funny that they were called the Dome Patrol.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually a shirt online. It has it says the Dome Patrol, and it's got all 4 of their numbers.
Damn.
They were really good.
They were fun to watch, man. Yeah.
You know?
I always was a fan of the Steelers. Just enamored of all the defensive players. And they knew how to draft, and they still do. Jack Amberts.
Yeah.
Mean Joe Green. Palomala,
Yeah, well, how about the years with Cowher where they had of course you had James Harrison, but then you had Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green too.
How about that, dude? Yeah.
That's why I mean, not to go off on a tangent, and of course, I mean the Eagles have mostly played a 4-3 since we've been watching, other than like when Chip Kelly was here.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of intrigued because Fangio likes kind of like a 34 front, and I've told you, again, it figures it goes again. The Eagles never value linebackers, so I guess I'm talking shit. But my favorite defenses throughout watching football always had great linebacker. I've always loved watching linebacker play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Because, dude, they're the anchor. They really are, Well, they kind of set the tone. But yeah, you're right. I couldn't agree more.
Well, you think about it. I mean, so many of these great defenses always. Of course, you got to be. I mean, you got to be strong on the line. If you're not strong on the line, you're going to get blown off the ball, and they're going to run it on you. But in a lot of these senses, a linebacker can influence the game on so many levels because a linebacker can blitz, a linebacker could cover. Like you could do so many different things as a linebacker.
Your linebacker is basically the quarterback on defense. Basically,
yeah, right.
Calling those plays, moving, adjusting, go to A gap, B gap. And even sometimes telling the secondary he might see a weakness. Believe it or not, I think like Lloyd did that with Palomalo. You know what I mean? But they just were such a great core and group of guys. They fed off each other. They knew how to play the game, and they were intimidating. Yeah. Well,
hey, that's all right. Hey, we got Zach Bullen. Nah, you know what? Hey, man. Hopefully. Well, let's be honest. If we're playing a 34, then we got to hope that like Bryce Huff and Sweat come off the edge. Nolan Smith comes off the edge. And then you just got to hope your inside linebackers can do some covering and not get exposed. Hopefully we're not getting exposed too much by these running backs and tight ends and shit coming out of the. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
you couldn't have said it better.
Hey man, you know what? Look, we could reminisce about old school football all night, but let's wrap it up here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll be back next week, and hopefully, I mean, shit, I feel bad. I'm sitting here praying for a 3-3 Phillies week. You know what? Fuck that, man. Let's hope they go like 4-2 or 5-1. You know what I mean? Let's turn this shit around. You know what I'm saying?
They don't call them the Fightins for nothing, man. I mean, this is Philly. Nobody loves them, and we don't care.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say just just don't pull the Chip. Remember the Chip Kelly against the Bears? He's like, we're from Philadelphia, we fight. Like, man, fuck Chip. He turned out to be such a fraud.
Yes, he did. Stay in UCLA. That's where you are. So,
although you know what's funny though, when he said that on that. Let's be honest, though. When he said that and they were kicking the Bears' ass on Sunday night in his first year, he said that, I was like, man, Chip Kelly's great. And then, dude, the league figured his ass out like the next year.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not listening to no dude that's going to tell me how much sleep to get, how much weight I have to lift, and, you know, protein shakes. You can kiss my Irish ass. You know,
yeah, I hear you, man. He Chip Kelly was Milli Vanilli, man. He was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, you got that right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but all right, well, we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Go Phils, go Birds, and go Fightins, go Birds, and see you all next week.
Yeah.